Cameraman Grades, cameramangrades.com. How to film football, training and professional consultations for camera operators, video coordinators, and sports video experts at all levels. Find us at cameramangrades.com or contact us directly at cameramangrades@gmail.com to improve your team's coaching video. Currently looking for the best camera operator of the 2025 NFL season? These are the best of the best, and we are putting it to the test. Today we're looking at the Cincinnati Bengals of Cincinnati versus the Detroit Lions, Week 5 of 2025. The Bengals are a favorite of mine. They've had one of my favorite players of all time in number 85, Tyler Eifert, who is local to this area. But very excited to get started here for the Bengals, and let's just get right into it. Okay, staying out pretty wide on this. I mean, to zoom out to get this much extra space on both sides doesn't really help when everybody's about to condense down. You can seriously just pan over. They drop the kicker immediately. To just pan over would be able to get everybody in the shot and be much, much closer. Let's just throw the box on it right off the bat to see. Let's see here. I mean, it's a significant amount of space that we're losing. A significant amount of detail in all of this, interactions, all these blocks that are going to get thrown, all the hand fighting that's going to take place to get off of those blocks to go make a tackle, right? Right here, it's going to put you down to less than 70%, okay, at the point where the returner catches the ball. Yep, and it doesn't get any better. You can see right here, it's not getting any better. Kicker re-enters the frame, and this is where you're at. It's still that exact same amount of space being used on your frame, which we're still seeing part of the end zone back here, and the ball is at the 24-yard line. Okay, it's not directly behind the ball carrier, but directly behind the ball carrier is the 6-7 yard line, okay, instead of the 24. And then they zoom in. Okay. Okay, good setup. Nice. Not making any knee-jerk movements with any of this pre-snap movement. And then, wow, great play off the edge there. All right. Good start. Nice. Fantastic. Okay. So before the play, you got 5 yards on each side. Okay. They're ready for it. Anything changing? No. Less than 5 yards. They actually let people fill in that frame even better. Awesome. Awesome. Great start for the Bengals. Okay, they are using this frame really well and showing the football as needed. Okay, a lot of time before the snap. And then no knee-jerk reactions after the snap, letting everything play out. Great job. I've seen Detroit's offense be much quicker at the snap, uh, prior to the snap. Hurry up offense in the opening drive of other games that I've watched. So they're really kind of taking their time on this one. Awesome. Okay. Great start. Coming right down the field here. What? Let's go. All right, setting up the kick. It's an interesting stance. And kicks away. Perfect. No movement, no adjusting. Set it up and let it ride. All right, let's see what they do on this kickoff. Much better. Much tighter on this. All right, within 10 yards, both directions. Giving a little more space on the edges. That works. You can see how quickly these quick pass plays develop. Okay, so snap and balls away, right? You have to recognize very, very quickly what's happening. Run recognition on that last play. Saw it immediately. The sun came out and made it pretty bright along these strips here. Okay, so they did a good job of accounting for it. I'm sure there's plenty of settings you have to dial in to make sure that you can still see guys. Okay, it's pretty bright right here. It could have to do with the compression of the video once it gets posted. But the original might show a whole lot more detail to be able to see these players. Okay, but you can see here we've got within 10 yards, right? There's definitely room to tighten up. Here we've got a guy going off the edge here and then nobody across the top, so that would make sense to keep this guy in the frame and not have a bunch of extra space along that edge. Okay. It's possible that they're staying out wide because they're not seeing very well in that strip of bright sunshine there. That makes a ton of sense, to go ahead and just stay out wider. And they may have lost that player on that edge because of the harsh difference. You're looking and seeing the majority of the players are in shadow and one person just gets completely washed out. Awesome. Looks really good. They saw them all on that one. They saw them right to the edge and allowed them to fill that frame. Okay, again, they might be staying out wider just because of that. Looks good though. Okay. Oh, shifting. Okay, you got two guys in motion, so it's not motion, it's shifting, and no, it's illegal, whatever it was. All right. Okay. Yep. All right. So just yeah, that series they just stayed out a little wider than the previous one. The first series was really tight. This one they just gave a little more room along the edge. Okay, punts away into the end zone and out the back. Great job. Okay, now that's a proper shift there. And here's the motion and pulling it back, throwing a long ball down the field. Oh, nope, throwing it to the out. Okay. Great job on that. Filmer stayed with everybody. Okay. This one. All right. So what do you zoom out for? What would you want to zoom out for? People dropping back, people running to the sidelines, people running off the screen. What did we zoom out for? Not much. It's a run going the other direction. There's a little bit of a, possible screen being set up this direction. Yeah. Okay. There's plenty of room to tighten that up or just recognize what was happening on the field there. All right. Again, the brightness is definitely playing a factor. Probably something they have to contend with fairly often in the stadium, but great job there. The hula celebration. Love it. All right. Within 10 yards, both directions. Giving themselves a little bit extra space. Look at that. They're seeing the same thing that the defenders are seeing. All right. Let's see here. Yep. Dropping back. Okay, giving extra space. But what do you do with that space? Continuing to zoom out and then creating all this extra space along the backside. All right, not ideal. You want to preserve that space as much as possible. Okay, here we go. Okay, top to bottom, they're using sideline to sideline. They've got receivers going to the top. They've got receivers coming to the bottom. Makes sense to go to the top of the chains. Make sure you see if there is a pass going this way, you'll see all of it. And then down here, and then stop, right? That makes sense. Okay. We're tight here. Are they going to tighten up a little bit? No, they're backing off. Okay. Backing off again. And then using that space really well. Okay. Let's go. Ball's on the ground. Yeah, they got it. Let's go. All right, 2/3. Pretty close. Okay. They can definitely bring this over and put it on that line. That's going to bring, this guy back closer to this edge, and then you're going to have less space behind your quarterback because this dude's vacating, right? He's either going to take a step back and, catch a pass. He might be going end around. He might be coming in this way or across, but he's going somewhere other than right here. So the quarterback is going to end up as the farthest guy on that side. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's run straight ahead. Yeah, and there he is, right? We left an extra 6 yards behind this guy for what reason? Nothing. No reason whatsoever, right? And then what do we do with that space? Nothing, even less, right? So that's where just recognizing where these players are going to go 99% of the time is going to be up the field, right? So that makes a ton of sense. All right. It would make a ton of sense to accommodate for that, is what I'm saying. Nice. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Well, we were off to a good start. Okay? Right there. Less than 5 yards. Just about 5 yards on this side. Okay, we're gaining a little bit of space. We're within 10 yards at this point, both directions. Now we're within 15 yards, and now we're within 20 yards. Right? And now we've got all this space. All right? So, what that does to your frame, where we're trying to watch football, right? If you're trying to watch football, which the people watching are only trying to watch football so that they can get better at what they do, it's right here. Right? There is a guy up here. You would most likely drop him out on a run play straight ahead. You can, even widen out to get to that point would be, 80%. But, in most cases, you're going to be much tighter than that, which is going to be here. Okay. All right. And that is less than 70%. Okay. All right. Okay. 2/3. All right. It's pretty close. Again, you can move the ball over to this side, and then that's just going to drop this back. Let's see what they do with it. Okay, he's vacating before the play even starts, right? Nice. Okay, they use that space really well. They allowed this quarterback to drop back a little bit. He's got back here within 5 yards now at this point, and then they're allowing players to fill in this space. Okay, they're not zooming out so much. Maybe just barely, but almost imperceptible. All right. Special teams. Punts away. Very high. Coming back in with all of it. Look at that. Okay. All right. So you can see where they zoom out to find the ball. Okay. Here's the last guy aside from the punter. Right. And they're going to keep everybody in this frame, and they're going to continue to zoom in. Here they kind of hold off for a second. Not sure why. As the ball's going away from you and all these people are condensing, you can really just keep tightening it up until you get to that point, right? Okay. Nice. All right, we're within 5 yards both directions. Using the frame well. Ball's going away from you. All right. Panning up or tilting up at this point, okay, just to see more of the sidelines doesn't make sense when we got players back here. Just leave it on the sidelines, right? Leave the top of the frame right here and allow all this to continue to be seen by the players. All right. But, I mean, really good throughout that play. Within 5 yards. A little bit of zooming out as a precaution. All right. And there was, clearly a run going straight ahead. You can just leave it and allow that to happen. All right. Within 5 yards, both directions. Yep. Nice. Nice work. Okay. Wow. Fantastic. Okay. What can we do here to tighten this up? Right here is great. Okay, within 5 yards. Okay, it's starting to gain some space here. Still within 5 yards here. Still got this extra space back here. And then still zooming out. And then, because of that, just having that extra space behind the quarterback and having extra space here, it just makes for a smaller frame. Okay. That's really kind of where you want to be. So I'll be using just barely over 70% of your frame. All right. Fourth and 13. High punt. Spot on. Let's go. Holy smokes. Rock on. Down inside the 5. The 3-yard line. Love it. Okay. Whoa. Lot of space here. Okay. And what does that do to your frame? Everybody gets smaller. Okay. Right here, I can see numbers. I can see detail. I can see hip movement. Okay. Okay. I can see that this guy now is engaging, some contact, right? And then an interception, right? But, once you get to this point, you've got so much extra space behind them that all these players are getting smaller than my cursor, right? And that's not very helpful if you're trying to watch the players on the field. Okay. Awesome. Okay. There's room to just recognize what's happening there. It's a run going away from you. So just allowing it to start and develop a little bit and then zoom out as needed. Same thing here. Now that's where I'm talking about. Let's just see what happens. No zooming out. No reason for it, so no need to do it. Okay. Within 5 yards, both directions. And zooming out. Okay. That's the difference, right? Flag coming in. Oh, I don't think that was on the offense. They're down inside. Down to the 1-yard line. Straight ahead. Oh. Okay. Looks good. Backed it up a little bit. This is passing. Oh no. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that wasn't even their quarterback back there. This is a direct snap. Wildcat style. Okay. And then the Tebow jump pass over the top. Yeah. Okay. So, I could say it's a Tebow pass, but that's really like the first time I saw it was at Florida. Urban Meyer. Okay. So, yeah. Fantastic. Let's just see what happens here. A lot's going on in this play. There's no knee-jerk reactions. They got the perfect setup to start, and we're just going to watch it happen. And what happened was awesome. So let's hear Bengals fan. And what happened was not ideal. Okay. Backing off a little bit to start. Okay. I mean, there was no need for it, but you can. All right. Kickoff. Okay. Here's the kicker just kind of jogging behind the play. I'd rather see the people making the tackle. Okay. Rather see more of that. But if you're going to keep the kicker in the shot, it wasn't bad. Okay, decent. Second and 1. What are they going to run on second and 1? Pretty much whatever you want. There you go. Need a yard, get a yard. Okay. Nice. That works. Oh, they're saying it's going the other way. I don't believe them. They try to trick people sometimes. Defense is tricky. Straight ahead. Love it. Okay. They kept up extra space along the edges there to start, but they didn't zoom out from there. They kept it in, within reason. Same thing here. Okay, they did zoom out, but again, within reason and based on what was needed on the field. Okay, this is second and 11. All right, second and 11 is different from second and 1 by 10 yards. So I'm thinking this is a passing situation. Oh my goodness. Got to make the play across the middle. It certainly did. Defense came up slamming. Third and 7. Okay. Got a few yards on second and 11. All right. Well, let's see what we can do here. Right? Can we tighten this up? Yes. Are we within 10 yards? Barely. Okay. Are we within 10 yards this direction? Not really. I mean, you're kind of pressing it at this point. Okay. But right on the bubble, right? So benefit of the doubt. We'll just let that one slide and see if we can tighten it up next play. Right? This is a punt, so there's room behind the punter. That's not going to be needed ever. You can cut that down, and then coming this direction, and then there goes the punt into the end zone. Nice. Nice work. Okay. Within 5 yards, both directions. Using fairly well. Okay. It did extend beyond 5 yards at some point during that play. This is good. Awesome. Awesome. Wow. Okay. So we're within 5 yards at the start of this play, right? And there's plenty of time before the snap. And the filmer's ready for whatever happens here. Okay. It's a handoff. Do they zoom out? Maybe a little bit, just barely, right? But top to bottom, they're using this space. They're using just a little bit of space behind the safety, and then they just allow everything to happen in the frame. They already have the right framing to start, so they just let it happen. I like it. Nice work. Second and 9. Okay. It's got that kind of passing stance. There it is. Yep. See the quarterback lined up in that. I've got 1 foot sitting back, ready to just grab the ball and throw it here. Right. You might be able to see a difference in his stance when he's looking to hand it off to the guy right here. There it is. Okay. Nice. Great job. 3rd and 2. Okay, quick pass. Oof, did not get 2 yards on that. Great job, Filmer. Okay, 4th and 2. Oh, they're not going for this one. They're going to punt it. Punts away. Ball's up. This is a really high punt. There you go. Something's going on here. Not sure what happened. Great job, Filmer. Okay. Sometimes I'm not really sure what happened on the field. I just say great job, Filmer, because what the Filmer was doing was spot on. Fantastic. All right. Same thing here. Nice work. Okay, top to bottom, going sideline to sideline. That works. Okay. A lot going on here. Safety. All right. So I was looking at where the receivers were at, top to bottom, where the framing is at, sideline to sideline. Makes sense. Okay. You got a guy here. You got a guy here. You got some stuff going on here. Is there any reason to be, to need to move back and forth and zoom out again? Not really. There was a guy coming this direction. Yeah. Chaos going on behind the play. And there you go. Okay. Oh, not a safety though. Okay. And they just get the ball at the 10-yard line. And there you go. Okay. Nice. Oh my. Wow. A lot going on that play as well, and they kept up with it perfectly. Okay. All right. No play. All right. Good setup to start. Got some space behind the quarterback, but nothing major. All right. So it looks like they're staying with guys running down the field really well. Okay, these are go routes. They're going for it, right? And right here is kind of the point where just panning over to see more of the extra space in front of them isn't really helpful. Let's see here. Right, this is really good. I mean, within 7 yards both directions. Okay, right here, now we're kind of getting more into 10 yards. And then, just the pan over. It's already in your frame. You can just kind of keep it, along that top edge. And then go find it after the ball's away. Which they do. Okay? All right. Awesome. Great setup. Great play by the defense. And I got to see all of it. Okay. So, you can see the motion at the last second coming out of the backfield. You got a single back on this side. As soon as he goes into motion, it turns into empty, which is, you've got two options. You got the quarterback draw or the passing, right? So most times it's not going to be a quarterback draw. It's going to be a quick pass or some sort of pass that in that scenario. You might have an end around situation, but that's pretty rare. It's pretty easy for defenses to key on and kind of blow it up, right? Whereas you can run any sort of pass out of this empty set here. Okay, you got a guy right here close to this edge, and you've got space across the top. If you needed to trade that space to make sure that this guy stays in the shot, that's great. But in this case, they recognize that it's going a pass to the top of the frame, and then they zoom in. Great job. Okay, this is 3rd and 12. Okay, obvious passing situation. 9 times out of 10, you can expect that. Okay, and you can account for it, and you can be ready for it, and then you can expect that whatever happens after the play, you're going to be able to stay with it very tight. All right, punting. That works. All right, down inside the 10 again. Some really good punts inside the 10, 5. A couple that went through the end zone. Nice, nice, great job. Okay. All right, empty. What do we know about empty? It's a pass. Or quarterback draw. Okay. And hey, that's fine. Okay. If you're expecting pass and it's quarterback draw, better for you. Right? You're staying up with this guy. You got this guy on this edge. Expect that if this guy's going to be running to the sidelines, he's going to be running off your shot, which he does. Right? You've got space up here. Give it to this guy down here to keep him in the shot. But it's quarterback draw. Okay? So, straight ahead. Third and 4. Okay. This could go either way. He might be handing it off just to get some yards, or trying to get the 4 yards. They are down 2 scores. Trying to get some momentum going before halftime. But if they miss that and end up backed up and punting again, they definitely don't want to do that, right before half. Give up another score. 2 scores is one thing, but 3 is a whole nother thing to go into halftime with. Okay, that was an excellent job of keeping up with everybody down the field. All right. Awesome. Top to bottom, as tight as they could get it. Looked really good. Top to bottom, sideline to sideline. Perfect. Okay. Alright. So this is a chaos play, right? It's not going as intended. Normally they're looking to release this pass much sooner than this, right? Nope, covered. Nope, covered. Nope, guys in my face. Running around. Still looking downfield. You definitely want to continue to keep guys in the shot as much as possible, but if you're reading it as a scramble, it does make sense to stop zooming out at that point. All right, love to be able to keep that guy in the top frame, top left of the frame, in the shot longer, but it wasn't bad. Yep. No play. Somebody moved somewhere, they're going to figure it out and then tell us which direction it's going. Ah, shoot. Okay. Okay, got some space both directions. They're using it. Using it well. Cool. And okay, that went right down to the half. So they're kicking the field goal. A little bit of running into the kicker, I guess, is totally normal these days. Sure. Okay, definitely been on the field during a running into the kicker situation, and I'm glad that they threw the penalty for it. Ended up winning us the game. Shout out to Matt Bussman for taking the hit on that one. It was a big hit. I'll just put it that way. All right. Okay, that works. Oh my. Okay. Going back the other direction. All right, let's go. All right, they did a great job here. Okay, this is within 5 yards, both directions. Bam. Bam. Looking good. Look at that. And then this dude just elevates, right? And I get to see it because they didn't just zoom out to the moon. They zoomed out at the pace that I need to see it, and I see it, right? And coaches see it, and the offense is like, where'd that guy come from, right? And the defense is like, put that guy there every time, right? We want to do this every single play. Let's go. Going back the other direction, okay? That's what it's all about. That's so good. So good. There's so much that a team can pull from that, right? From getting that kind of a shot on that play. Both teams can learn from that. And if you miss it, you miss it. It's gone. You never get to see it again, right? Great job here. Nice tight setup. Okay. They're keeping extra space out in front of the receivers. That's not a bad decision. Wanted to make sure you keep everybody in the frame. The quarterback on the left side was pretty tight, keeping it close. Okay. Yep, same thing here. All right. A little bit of shift beforehand. Tightening up really tight, and then recognizing the run so there's no zooming out. And it's straight ahead, and everything's in the frame, and everything looks amazing. And we should just do that every time because this is fantastic. Okay. They handing off again. Probably a good chance that they would after getting 5 yards on first down. But let's see. Hey, if it worked on first down, run on second down. For another 5 yards. But they cheated, so it doesn't count. Okay. 2nd and 15 is a different situation. Probably going to pass. Got that one foot back passing stance. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Okay, they left some extra space on the sides there, but I saw all of that, and that's fantastic. Cool. Let's go. And it's good. All right. So, just for context, at this point in the game, we're just kind of kicking off the third quarter. That was the first series of the third quarter. It's 21-3. Okay, the Lions are up 21, with the Bengals having 3 points. So, oh yeah, fantastic, great job. And so, that can start to dictate some of the decisions that take place between now and the end of the game. It's early for them to just start passing to try to catch up, but it's certainly in the back of their mind that, hey, we need 3 scores here to really get on top of this game. So let's see what they do. Okay, single back, 3 to the left, run. Okay, keep it on the ground. That works. 3rd and 3. Empty. Okay, what do we know about empty? It's a pass. Yes, let's go. Oh, didn't catch it. 4th and 3. Okay. All right. Ball's away. Okay, leaving a lot of space behind the punter. You don't need that space. There was the ball hitting at the 1-yard line and then bouncing out the back of the end zone. Great job, filmer. Way to get down there and to see it. And you can see how much of an emphasis there is on those punt details, right? I saw the hang time and the distance on it. We can put a measure on all that, make sure that the statistics are right, and then the punter gets to see it, in-game film review. Okay, so the rollout, quarterback rollout this direction, coming this way. Perfect, 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 perfect. It's all in the frame. It's all perfect. All looks great. Okay, now we're starting to move with the ball. Looks good. I like it. Great job. Okay. Looks like it could be a run straight ahead with a lead blocker would be even better. Off tackle. Fantastic. Okay. Great job. Okay. Just anticipating what's going to happen. What do you see on the field that you would expect to have happen here? Right? And then responding when it does happen. If you see it happening, lead blocker coming this way. Same play this direction. That's what I'm calling. Ha! Is it the same play? I don't know. Probably not. From a filmer's perspective, it's the exact same play, right? And you just kind of see it. It worked on going the other way. It's going to work this way. 3rd and 2. He's in that pass set again. Is he going to just step back and throw it? Yeah. Perfect. Okay. There you go. All right. So this is a very similar formation to what they've been running. This, that off tackle. They bring the lead blocker and then they run off tackle. Run it this way, run it that way, and you can expect that, hey, they might do the same thing again without a lead blocker, which is exactly what they do, right? It helps to have already watched the play at this point. But if he does end up keeping it and he fakes the handoff and then steps back and this receiver goes up this direction, look how much space he has to do that. Look how much space he has to run a route here. Okay, just let it happen. Let it happen and see where it goes before making any knee-jerk reactions. And by doing that, you can stay tight on a run if it's going to stay on the ground. Okay, they zoom out a little bit. Okay, just at the snap. No reason for it, but they do. Okay, just a little bit. Okay. All right. All right. Awesome. Cool. Recognizing that the run away from you is going to shrink your frame pretty quickly, they stopped the zoom and waited to see that happen and then started to zoom in. So great job on the extra point. Kicks away, zooming in. Everybody's condensing on one spot, so zooming in makes a ton of sense. And there you go. All right, they drop the kicker out of this shot. What does the kicker do? Exits stage right. Okay, never see him again. Right. So there's plenty of opportunity for a kicker to get involved here, but this one's not really interested in being over in where all that action is, and that's fine, right? But it just goes to the point of if we're going to keep that person in the shot, what does it do to the other 21 guys on the field? And since they did not, it didn't affect any of it. Okay. All right. Great job on that play. Very usable footage here. Now, at this point, you might expect that the Bengals are going to think pass before anything else. Okay. Oh, jeez. All right. 3rd and 8. You got 2 backs in the backfield just for protection purposes. Give him some extra space to scramble and run. And there he goes. Sweet. Got a first down out of it. Okay. You do have a back in the backfield. Probably going to look to the run, but they don't actually hand it off. And it's going pass all day. Cool. Okay. You can see the play action, right? Happens right in front of you. Right there. Okay. And then the rollout. These guys are trying to get over here to block them off. These guys are obviously in routes. Makes sense that this is a pass. Makes sense to stay tight on everybody, and they nailed it. Great job. Okay, motion back. Okay, so right here you've got a guy going all the way to the edge at the bottom, and then you got all this space at the top. I always trade space for players. Okay, it makes sense. Give that guy more space and give these guys way less space, right? Okay. That works. Alright, here we go. A little bit of space behind the quarterback. He's going to fill that space pretty decently. Okay, what's going on at the top of the frame here? I know what's going on at the bottom of the frame, and it's not much, right? Let's see here. top of the frame. He's going right to the sideline. There goes his head. Okay, there's a bunch of space here. Nothing's going on this side of the numbers. They do come up at that point. Alright. Is there anything we can do to tighten this down? Yeah, they're zooming out. There's not a whole lot. There's no go routes, right? There's nothing going deep down the field. There's no posts. All this is flattened out. They had the extra space behind the safety and behind the quarterback to start. Okay, instead of zooming out and just expecting that there's going to be a bunch of stuff going on downfield, you're just going to have to wait to see where that's happening and why and when, right? When to go down the field with them. All right. Yep, just like that, right? Keeping up with guys as they're going down the field. You can see it right on this edge here. They've got some space and they're just using it, letting that fill in that space there. You got some space behind the quarterback that you can cut down, but still within 10 yards. And there it is. Awesome. Whoa. Big tackle. Okay. Awesome. Okay, top to bottom. Makes sense. Okay. Alright. Some stuff happening before the play here. It's a pass. To the end zone. Is he in? He's in. Let's go. Nice work. Okay. Well, not saying they're going to catch up, but if they're going to, that touchdown was going to be necessary. Okay. Just for context, the score is 28-10. Okay. Still got a lot of ground to catch up and a lot of ground to cover, and then also, stopping the other team from scoring touchdowns, which seems to have been the biggest challenge of the day. All right. Here's the play action rollout. Okay, how did I know it was a play action rollout? You can just watch it. Okay, it's right there on their frame. Right there. Okay. Yep. Clearly not a run. Okay. He holds the ball out and then pulls it right back in. And now he's rolling out, and now you can see people coming this direction, which makes a ton of sense if it's a rollout. All these guys going this way, right? They wouldn't be doing that if the running back had the ball. Great job. If you're looking for that as a filmer, you're looking for it every single time, and then eventually it becomes second nature. As soon as you see, black shirts heading that direction, it changes what you're doing, and you can kind of see it in your peripheral vision while you're looking at the edges of the frame, right? You're looking at where the quarterback's at and where the safety's at, and kind of paying attention to both of those, and then in between those two things, you see a bunch of black shirts running to the top of the frame. And you say, oh, must not have been a handoff, right? And there you go. Okay. 3rd and 13, passing down. And of course they're going to run it. Okay. But, if you're expecting pass and you see that it's a run, that's some easy filming right there. I don't have to do anything. I just have to watch it happen and then zoom in. Easy, I say, right? There's nothing easy about filming in the NFL. There's just people that are really, really good at it. And here they are. Okay. Okay. Pause. 2/3. Okay. So you can see where the center of the frame is right here. The ball's right off the center, right? If you can bring this back to this line, it puts your offense back into this, third of the frame, and then brings the quarterback back to about here. And then that puts everything much better perspective for once the play starts and starts going in all these different directions. There you go. And you can see that they're already starting to make that adjustment before the snap. Right here. Okay. Just a little creeping left or right. And then they end up zooming out to show a bunch of extra stuff. So not necessarily the best option in this scenario. Keeping it in the 2/3 to the defense and then allowing all this to just take place inside of your frame would have made a whole lot more sense. All right, let's just put it in the box right there. You got all these guys behind the play that aren't really doing anything. At some point you'd probably move into this position, and that's 60%. Okay. Flea flicker, and that didn't help. Holy smokes. Okay, so there you go. Talking about what to expect on a play. The flea flicker is expect everything, right? We know exactly what they're going to do. The bad part is they're doing everything on this play. You've got to keep these guys in the frame. Like, what's the indicator? These guys are not blocking, they're running routes. Right. Interesting flea flicker with 2 verticals up the hash. Yeah. Whew. Look at this play. Coming around the edge, swallowing up the quarterback, and then he's got to dive on it. That is not the result that they wanted from that. Okay. But great job, filmer, of staying tight on behind the quarterback, keeping all that going on down the field, in the frame. Same thing here. Looks good. Okay. Pass. Yeah. What? Oh, okay. Interesting time to gloat, but okay. So, fantastic job. I saw all that, right? And why did I think it was a pass? Because, like I said, in this situation, down 3 scores, you got to think pass first. We're in the fourth quarter. Just for context, 28-17 Lions. All right, so now they're down 2 scores, and let's see what happens. Nice. Okay. Great job. Going and finding the ball, and then zooming up to stay tight. All right, here we go. Okay, we got some space behind the safeties. Space behind the quarterback. Not really tight top to bottom, but let's just see how they use this space. Yep, sideline to sideline, and then they stop. Okay. You got receivers running up the field both sides. Boom. Okay, and they hit the sidelines, right? And then as soon as the filmer gets to about the middle of the chains, top of the chains, and to this edge of the sideline, they stop zooming out. And then now this makes sense. It makes a ton of sense to film it that way. Okay? Instead of saying, oh, everybody's running routes down the field, I just need to zoom out, to show the top of the stadium. That would not make sense, because nobody's playing football at the top of the stadium. Wow, what a fantastic shot this is. Look at this guy. Okay, got some extra space behind the quarterback. Safety's close on this edge. Quarterback uses that frame. Okay, still some zooming out going on, but then they stop, and then the ball's away, and then now they're starting to come in on it. Looking good. Alright. Think they're going to go to the ground here and try to use up as much clock as possible. And then the filmer saw it coming the entire way. Of course they're going to do that, right? I'm not zooming out for that. Okay, think they're going to do it again, or is this going to be play action? Doing it again. But, look at that. Okay, if it was play action, look what we got. Safety, quarterback. Beautiful. Boom. Bam. Bam. Okay, and it's not. It's a run. Bam. Beautiful. That works. Let's do that. Okay, 1st and 10. Is it going to be a run again for the 3rd straight time? It is with the lead blocker, it is. You know it. Bam. Off tackle. Okay. Now, if we're expecting it's going to be a run going that direction, how far up do we need to pan? Tilting the camera up to see the hooday and the catch and the cheerleaders and the, what is this? I don't even know what this machine is, right? There's some equipment over here. There's some photographers. There's the end zone, right? I don't need to see any of that. Really, it's a run going away from us. You knew it was happening. You saw it happening. You saw the formation. You know the situation. What are we zooming out for? Okay, to gain an extra 15 yards behind the safety, to get an extra 7 yards behind the quarterback. Okay, what are we panning up for? To cut out the quarterback to show the cheerleaders? I mean, if you're going to cut out the quarterback, fine, but do so while zooming up on this would make a ton of sense. Okay? Lead blocker. Off tackle this direction or play action. Nope. Lead blocker. Off tackle this direction. It's really the only 2 options you got there. Right. Okay. Just leaving a lot of space here. Okay. Alright. Makes sense to just let this all play out within this frame right there. This is all 22 guys. No reason to really zoom out to get extra space here. And then certainly no reason to cut all these guys out to show, 7 rows of crowd. All right. All right, empty. Nope. Bringing someone back. Bringing two guys back? No, just one. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Play action on top of play action with a little bit of play action thrown in, right? So it's going to be a pitch. No, it's going to be a handoff. No, it's going to be a dropping back and throwing the ball. Okay. Sweet. Yeah. Touchdown Angels in the end zone. Okay. All right. Great job keeping everybody in the shot. Obviously, great job from the special teams. Okay. Pinging across, keeping the kicker in the shot this time. There he goes. He's going over to get involved on this one. Okay. Five minutes to go in the game. We just can't seem to get past that 3-score threshold, except for just briefly. Okay. So here, can we stay tighter? Right there. Within 10 yards each direction, and then by this point we're, at 12, 13 yards. Okay. Under 5 minutes to go in the game. Scores 35-17. See how they close this one out. Okay. Sideline to sideline. If you've got guys on each edge, which they do, okay, you can see them gaining width and depth on these routes. So they got to go sideline to sideline. They don't have to go this far into the sidelines, right? But it's pretty close. Pretty decent. They really have done a great job of stopping their zoom once they go to each sideline. All right, I say that, and of course they're going to prove me wrong, right? No, this is fine. Okay, they've got space behind the quarterback. They can tighten that up, right? They got within 5 yards here, within 10 yards behind the safety. Theirs was still within 5 yards, still within 10 yards. And then here is kind of where, having the extra space back there isn't very helpful. Okay. But there you go. Yeah, baby. Let's go. The over top. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yep. Okay. They stayed out a little wider on this one. Again, expecting a pass on 3rd and 10 late in the game. Down 3 scores. Totally makes sense. There you go. Little shovel pass underneath. Sideline to sideline. Top to bottom. Looks great. Okay, they're running out of time here. If they're going to mount a comeback, it's going to have to be bam, bam, bam. And a lot of big things happening in between. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, within 10 yards behind the quarterback. Completely not necessary to have any space back there, and especially not while dropping out, receivers at the top of the frame. Okay, he's going to go up here and then cut him out. I guess he's not doing anything up there, but the pass is away to the bottom of the frame at this point. But you could theoretically cut this down to here, move this all up here, and then only move down as needed, right? Which would be very, the very tail end of that, okay? If they're going for the end zone, just show the end zone, right? Show the top corner of the end zone if you can expect that that's where he's going, right? Yeah, exactly, right? But if you go back to get there, we gain how much space behind the quarterback where nothing's happening. All the action's going this way, right? There could be a back corner, could be a front corner, which it is. There could be a back corner here. You know, I'm not saying that you have to show the back corner here, but be prepared to zoom out to that point, and be prepared to never show anything behind the 10-yard line. Okay. Okay, extra point. 2-possession ball game. 35-24. Alright. So they can just kick it off. They don't necessarily need to onside, but they're going to. Oof. Oh. I didn't even think it was going to get to 10 yards, which it didn't, but it became a melee anyway. But great job. Okay. That works. Okay, there's room to tighten that up a lot. And I highly recommend that you would, especially when Detroit's got the ball and Detroit's trying to milk the clock under 3 minutes with just run after run after run. Milk the clock, milk the timeouts, right? And you're just going to expect that that's going to be the case. And so the complete opposite of the Bengals mindset here, Now, this is 3rd and 5. If they want to keep the ball, they might be doing some play action, some passing, or they might still run it. You never know. But let's just see what kind of options they got. Play action. Oh, buddy. Okay, apparently the Bengals were expecting that as well. Great job. Okay, there's room behind the quarterback. You can, cut that down and then keep more guys in the frame on the other side. But it was clearly a sack from the snap. All right, great job. All right. So 1:54 on the clock. They've got to go 95 yards. That's not going to do it. Okay. Safety, you get to punt it way up in the air, and fair catch. Okay. Oh. Huh. Alright, this is a lead blocker off tackle. That must be a wrinkle in the new kickoff rule that I'm not aware of, because I've never seen anybody just get the ball to the 10-yard line off of a kickoff. So this is it. They're closing out the game with victory. All right. Maybe there was, penalties after the play or whatever that caused that to happen. But that's a new one. All right. And victory again. Okay. And that's game. Wow. Great job. The Bengals of Cincinnati. Very excited to see it. Did a great job. Overall, they were overwhelmingly positive. 151 plays, 141 of them were positive, right? That's 93% of the time they're doing the majority of things right. Bonus 44% of the time they were doing everything right, and so that gives you a total of 97.81%. Great job from the Bengals. Looking forward to 2026 as usual. Until then, this is Cameraman Grades.